Hi guys, so I'm going to show you how to program an R&B pad that slides up. You might have heard it used by artists like Tom Misch or Ravina or this band called Michelle, but it's kind of a popular sound. The sound goes like this. So it kind of sounds smooth and spacey. It's usually used for either R&B or neo soul. So essentially what it is, it's basically a sine wave, and then how I'm changing it is I have some modulation going on. So as I play the chords, or as the chords plays, it modulates up to this saw wave. So in WaveTable, the first thing you do, this is what WaveTable looks like when it's stock. So you want to go to basic shapes and choose the sine wave, since the sine wave is the cleanest sound. It has no harmonics. So my chords here, I'm in the key of A flat, I believe. It's a common chord progression. So once on WaveTable, I'm gonna cut off a little bit of the highs. And then I'm going to add my handy dandy tuner. And then the next thing that's gonna give us like the meat of our sound is our amp envelope. So I'm going to increase the attack to around roughly 1 second. So the sound is fading in. It kind of sounds like a string. If you when you use a bow on a violin, fading in. And then we're gonna set our release time to as short as possible, but you can experiment with this. So when we release the note, or when we release the key, the sound dies right away. We're almost there. So to get the glide sound, what we're gonna do is go to our mod matrix. And then on envelope 2, what we're going to do is I'm going to increase the attack time a little bit. And then we're going to use envelope 2 to modulate the pitch. So I want it to come from the octave below, and then it's going to reach our target chord. So I'm going to pitch it down to 24, and this will give us the octave, or we can just type it in, -24. So the sound is going to come, it's going to glide from the bottom, and then it's going to reach our target chord. And that's basically the sound already in a nutshell. You can experiment with this envelope if you want to make the attack time longer, but then the glide is going to take longer. So if we like increase this to 1 second, it's still eventually going to hit that target chord. it's just gonna take a little longer. This is why we have the tuner, so I know if I'm hitting the target note. So to make things more interesting, I'm going to modulate our oscillator position. So as the chords play, it's going to change the wave type to a sawtooth wave. So the oscillator position, I want our amp envelope to modulate it. So as I hit a key, it moves up and changes over time. Along with the pitch, you can also have this glide in from a higher octave. So if we just do the opposite, if we do plus 24, it's going to give us a higher octave though. So it's up to you how you want your sound to sound like. For a mellower sound, I use either 24, but you can go as low as 48, and that's the maximum. It will still hit the octave though, but just really low. For some like Kaytranada stuff. Yeah, or future R&B or whatever, what have you. So the next thing, to give it a little bit more pizzazz, I'll use some filters and then give it a little bit of drive, maybe around 4 decibels for harmonics. So just experiment. If you want to experiment with like the attack, depending on your tempo, the amp envelope, this changes the volume. So if you really want it to, amp envelope, if you really want it to fade in, so it all depends on how you want it to feel, depending on your tempo. But I like to keep it safe, around 1 second, and it'll take 1 second for us to reach full volume. So the next thing to do is really just add effects. So we'll just copy the ones that I have here. These are all stock effects from Ableton. So I have some saturation, some chorus for some stereo width, as I don't have a stereo imager plugin, some reverb, and then some EQ. Then that's it. So I can just copy this and then paste it. And that's it. So no presets needed. So now you can save this sound. Let's just call it R&B Pad. So now it's saved. So that's it, and this is how it'll sound like. Thanks for watching. Peace.